Welcome to this new SwiftUI tutorial video. In this tutorial video, we'll be implementing a payment mobile app design, which was designed by Taras Mugiko. Make sure you follow Taras Mugiko. The link to his Dribble profile will be in the description below of the YouTube video. Make sure you check it out and give him a like. And also, you can tell him you're coming from this page. And this UI we'll be building will be this one. It's the UI of a payment mobile app, and I think we are on the statistic page because we can see here. On the statistics page, we have a top app bar. We also have a lazy horizontal stack, which contains like filters, because you can filter to check your income versus expenses, like for 6 months, last month, and this week, or what have you. Then here we have a pie chart of income against expenses, like of the month or the filter you chose. Then we have templates, which has a lazy horizontal stack again of, let's say, where you spent your income. Here you have insurance, you have task. They're also color coded. This one has a orange color and this one has a blue. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, don't be shy. And also have a button navigation bar, which has 4 menu items. And after we are done with design, if I may go to a simulator, you'll be able to run the project, and on your device this is how you look like. We'll see a lazy horizontal stack, and the items are selectable. We have somehow pie chart of which shows our income against expenses. You see here income $12,000 and expenses $2,000. And we have a lazy horizontal stack of our templates. We have our insurance and we have our tax. I also have our bottom menu items, which are 4 of them. For now, if you select the other ones, there are no screens implemented, just text which says where you are. And we'll select the static and we'll present it with this. First things first, before we start implementing the design, I want you to go to a description below and you'll find the GitHub link. And when you open the GitHub repository of this view, this is what you'll be presented with. And I want you to come to code, which is green button, and you copy the clone link of the GitHub repository. Then you open Xcode, and when you open Xcode, you'll be presented with this dashboard. In the dashboard, you select clone an existing project, because you want to clone the project from the GitHub repository, and you paste the GitHub repository link. We just copy it from GitHub, and you select clone. After you selected clone, it will ask you where you want to save the project. I will save mine in documents. You can also change the name. For me, I will not touch the name, and you select clone. This now will download all the files from your GitHub repository and make a copy in your local computer. And when that is done, it will launch the project in Xcode. You just have to wait it so that you can load and index all the files. And when Xcode has finished indexing a project, how you know that? You know that by seeing ready here. It will say finance app ready. It also gives the time. You just have to come here and make sure you're in the starter branch. You select starter branch. I'm waiting in the starter branch, and you're good to go. So now let's have an overview of the project on Xcode. Firstly, we'll go to the data folder, and data folder is a Swift file. This file just contains an array of, firstly, filters. The filters you see at the top. These filters is just an array of text we'll be using. Then secondly, we also have an array of templates. If you guessed it right, these templates. An array of object called templates, which are created here, the struct. It basically just has a name, the amount, the serial number, the color primary, and the color secondary. So we have here color primary, color secondary, the serial number, and the name. And the amount too. Forgot the amount and the amount too. So that's basically what data contains. And if we come to assets, let's open assets. In assets, we just have the primary color blue and the secondary color of blue, which we'll be using for this template object. We also have the primary and secondary color of orange, which we're using for the insurance template. We also have the signer color, which we'll be using for this, obviously, and also the filter color. So now let's actually begin and dive deep in the code. We'll open content view. In our content view SwiftUI file, we will just be presented with a text composable which just says hello world. So what are we attacking first? Let's go to our view here. I want to attack the top menu bar up here. So we are going to have a title which just says statistics and an icon. So first things first, to have a toolbar, the view which will anchor the toolbar has to be nested in a navigation stack. So I want to create a navigation stack. And in the navigation stack, our main view will be a Z stack. The Z stack that will contain our tab items. So we'll create a Z stack. Now, it's in this Z stack, it's on this Z stack, sorry, that we're going to anchor our toolbar. So after this, we'll give it a modifier of toolbar. And in here, we'll create two toolbar items. The first toolbar item, we want to give it a placement. And it will be, and the idea. Firstly, that toolbar item will contain this text widget. I'll call it a text widget. So we'll give it a placement of principal. So dot principal. And in here we have a text widget which will contain the text statistics. Great. So after creating this text composable, we use toolbar item and centering it to the center. In our preview, we can see it at the center, but it's too small. So let's change its font and give it a font of title 2, which will make it a bit bigger. And also want to change its weight. So let's give it a font weight modifier of bold. Want it to be bold. And that does it. So for our next toolbar item, want to give it a placement of trailing because it's at the end. And in here, we want an image widget, and it's going to be a system name. You can get those icons from SF symbols, and to use those icons from SF symbols, we need to use the system name variable in the constructor. So we'll give it a system name of, and the one we're going to use is ellipsis. That's ellipsis, ellipsis. Cool. We have the ellipsis icon, but it's laid horizontally, but in our preview we have it vertically. So what can we do? We are going to rotate this image. Let's first give it a font because we want to make it bigger before we rotate it. I'll give it a custom size, so use system. I'll give it a size of 20. Then we'll give it a rotate effect. I'll rotate it to minus 90 degrees. Cool. Now it's laying vertically instead of horizontally. So we are done with our top app bar. So after we are done implementing our toolbar or our top app bar, now it's time to implement our bottom navigation items, or like it's called in Swift, a tab view. Firstly, I want to collapse the code found in toolbar. Then in the body of the Z stack, I want to create a tab view widget. So basically the tab view, for each view that we found in the tab view, you will add a modifier of a tab item. To better explain this, in the body of a tab view, you need to create tab items, but we can't just create tab items because there's no composable called tab item. So to create a tab item, we need to first instantiate either a widget or a screen, whatever you want, which will be associated to a tab item. So when you hit the tab item, it will open the view. So let me start this by first creating the first tab item. I'll give it a dummy text called hope. And to this view, I'll give it a tab item modifier, and in here I give it and in here I have to give a label to the tab item. So our label will be an image. I'll use a system name called house. So after this first tab item, we want another tab item. Here we'll call it options. Then we'll give it a tab item, and as label we'll have an image, and it will have a system name of folder fill. Then we want another tab item, it will still be a text. We'll call it statistics. Then we'll create a modifier tab item. It should be an image, and you have a system name called slider horizontal 3. Then for our last tab item, you can just copy this text, come below it. This will change the color of our selected tab to black. And when you are done changing the accent color to black, this is what we presented with. As you can see, the selected menu have a black color. Great. So after all that is done, let's head into our design. Let's now move into create the main section. We want to create this screen, this main block. We'll call it the statistics screen. And in this screen, let's first have a general breakdown of what we're going to build. So in this screen, we'll have a lazy horizontal stack, which just contain I'll call it buttons or just items, which will be selectable, and when it's in the selected state, it has a dark background white text, and the unselected state has dark text with something like a gray background. We have that called an access folder, and we're going to use it. Then after that, we have some space, very important, and we have this just like two circular images, one with this cyanide color and the other with the orange color. Let's see. And on top of that, in the middle, we have this text. Below that, we have some little space and also have a text. Then a wider space. Then we have some more text. We'll embed them in the HStack. And after that, we'll have another lazy horizontal stack, which will contain these items with rounded corners. First things first, we'll head back to Xcode, and I want to create a new group called screen. And in this group, we'll create a SwiftUI screen, like a SwiftUI file, which would hold a main screen. This is a recommended approach in building SwiftUI view. So we don't want all our code to just be in one view. That will make it a lot difficult to troubleshoot in the future for problems, and it's not so elegant. So in our screen folder, we want to create a new file, which will be a SwiftUI file. We hit next. I want to call it statistic screen. Make sure this target selected, and hit create. After it's done creating and indexing a file, we'll just be presented with a dummy hello world text widget. So now let's start implementing this. Let's first start by getting rid of this text widget and creating a VStack, because our items will be stacked on the vertical axis. And to this VStack, we want to make it occupy all the available space by giving it a frame modifier, and we'll give it a max height of infinity. We also want to align the items to the top. Then we'll head back to our VStack, and the first widget we're going to implement is the LazyHStack. So first, we want our LazyHStack to be scrollable. So we first want to create a scroll view. We want it to scroll in the horizontal axis, and we don't want to show the indicator, so we'll say shows indicator to false. And the body of the scroll view now, and the body of the scroll view, we want to have a LazyHStack. Let's open the body of the LazyHStack, and for each, and for each we are looping through an array. We have an array called filters, which is found in the data Swift file. This filters. So we need to identify every item in the filters by giving it an ID parameter, and for the ID we use /self, and in here we'll get the filter in. I'll open this body. So now let's create a filter item view. I'll go to view, right click, select new file. Make sure SwiftUI is selected and hit next. Then we'll call it filter view and hit create. After our filter view is created, first our filter view will receive a text in its constructor, and that text will be the title, like first week, second week. So let's create a variable called title, and we will type string. We're going to have an error here because we have a missing argument. What a new argument title, it will be 2 weeks. Great. Now in the body, let's implement our filter view. It's going to be a text which contains the title, and we'll give the text a foreground color. But let's not forget, this filter view is going to have a selection state. Depends on if it's selected or not, the color of the title text is going to be white or black. So I first want to head up under the title variable. I want to create a state object which will hold a selection state, which will be a boolean. So I do state. It's a private variable called is selected, and it's of type boolean, and by default it's going to be false. So now for the foreground color, if it's selected, I'm going to use a turn operator. The color will be white, else the color will be black. I want to give it a font weight, and it's going to be bold. I also want to give it some padding. Firstly, it's going to be padding horizontal. I'm going to give it a value of 30. Then I also follow it up with a padding vertical with a value of 10. Then I give it a background. I want to give it a background color, and also depends on the selection state. If it's selected, make sure there's a space. You have a black color. Else, you have a gray color, but not any gray color. The gray color will be specified in an access folder called filter color. Of course, you have a corner radius because the edges are round. I'll give corner radius value of 10. And we'll include an on-tap gestures because we want it to be clickable. And in on-tap gesture, all we're going to do is toggle the boolean state, like toggle the selection state. Is selected is selected, the opposite of the value of is selected. Great. So we cannot use let and var. That's a mistake I made. Great. So now let's review this before inserting in our statistics screen. I want to have a look of it in our preview. You see, this is what we wanted, and it toggles on selection state. Now what we have to do is we'll go to our statistics screen, and in here, in the body of the for each loop, I'll instantiate a filter view. Let's not forget to pass in the title, and the title will be filter. Great. We then want to give a fixed height to our scroll view, because if you don't do that, the scroll view occupies all the available height, I don't know why it's so, but that's how it is. I hope it will be updated to future releases. I'll also give it a padding to the bottom with a value of 30. Great. We can see it up here. Now, let's move on to this section. Let's move on to creating this section. For this section, we'll be creating this item separately as own reusable component. And this item basically, the main layer of this item will be a Z-stack because all items will be stacked on top of each other with an alignment of center. And for this item, what we could have used is that each of them will be trimmed and rotated to be able to have this space in between. The images will be circle shapes. We will have a V-stack of basically two texts with different fonts and font sizes. So let's head into Xcode and in View. So to create a view file for our circular progress view, we will come here to View, right click and select New File. When you select New File, make sure SwiftUI View is selected. You double click and we'll call it Circular Progress View and hit Enter. So after we are done creating a circular progress view and it has index on Xcode, I first need to create a Z-stack, and in this Z-stack I'll be implementing two circles. Let's implement the first circle. And I'll give it a stroke. It will have a color called cyan. That's the name of the color in the assets. I'll give it a style, and it will be a stroke style. And in this stroke style, I'll give it a line width of 20 and a line cap of round. Good. Okay, we're missing a closing bracket here. Great. That's the circle we have. Then let me draw the second circle. I'll just copy the first circle and paste it here, and I'll give it a color of orange primary. Great. It's on top of the first circle. But what happens here? The second circle on top will just occupy like a little less than half of it, and the other occupies the rest of the circle. So what will I do? I will trim the first circle. I'll trim it from the start to the remaining 0.65 because it trims from 0 to 1. 0 is from the beginning and 1 is a full circle. And the second one, I'll also trim it. I'll trim it from the start to 0.23. Great. This is what you see. So it starts trimming here. This is 0 till it reaches 0.65. And the second circle starts trimming from 0 till it reaches 0.23. Now what can I do? I have to rotate this. I have to rotate the first circle. So to rotate the first circle, at the circle I'll give it a modifier of rotation effect. I'll give the number of degrees I'm rotating it to. I'll rotate to 80 degrees. It should be rotated 80 degrees, like so. And for the second circle, I'll rotate it to minus 25 degrees because I want to rotate it anti-clockwise, like so. So this is it. So since the lines are thin, we can just increase the line width. Let's just give the line width of 30. Great. Now I'll go back to our statistics screen. In our statistics screen, we have another ZStack, because let's not forget, our circular progress view is here, and on top of our circular progress view in the center, we will have this VStack which will contain two texts. So we have a ZStack, and to create an alignment of center. I don't think an alignment is necessary because by default items are aligned to the center, but to be more precise, let me just put it to the center. Now let's include a circular progress view. Let's include a circular progress view. Let's manipulate the width and height, or the size of it, by giving it a frame. And we're going to give it a width of 200 and a height of also 200, because it has to be a circle. Great. I see it's a bit too thick, so let's go back to circular progress view. I think I'll return it back to 20. Cool. We want to start the screen. So after a circular progress view, we have a VStack, which will contain two texts. Our first text will say income. We'll give it a font of headline and a foreground color of gray. Our second text it will be 12 TV 45 or 22 cents. Of a font width of bold. Let's not forget to give our ZStack a padding of bottom. And if we have a look at the preview, this is exactly what we want. So after this, we have another ZStack which will contain two texts. So after this, we have a ZStack which contain two texts. The first text will be $2,789.99. Have a font width of bold. Yeah, I want it to be bold. Then our last text, we see expenses. I'll get a font of headline and a foreground color of gray, just like the one at the top. Great. This is our final design. It looks just like this. So now let's move to this other section. Let's not forget, I think for this I am going to use a spacer, because I cannot give it a fixed height, because depending on the device screen it might pose a problem. It might look good on a 14 Pro or 14 Pro Max, but on a smaller iPhone like the iPhone 5 or 6 it might not look that good. So I want this height to, this base to be adaptive. So after this, I'm going to use a spacer. And if it pushes the other views right to the bottom, nothing to be feared. By the end of the video, you'll see how it looks like. So after a spacer, I go down to the template view. I will have another dedicated VStack in order to create this space, to apply this space globally to all of this. Then I'll have an HStack which will contain these two texts, templates and recently added. Then I'll have another lazy horizontal stack which will contain these two items. After a spacer, it will VStack. That's an alignment of lazy. Then configurations for this VStack, I'll give it a frame, and I want the max height to tend to infinity. I'll give dedicated alignment to align items to the top. Great. Now in the body of the VStack, I first want to create my HStack, and I want to precise the alignment of items in this HStack for first text baseline, so all the texts are on the same line. In here, I have a first text which says templates. You have a font of title 2, a font width of bold. The next text recently added, while a font of footnote. A foreground color of gray, a font width of bold, mind you, and I want to do some padding. This will have a padding of living so that it should not be too close to the living text, which is the template text, and I'll just give it a padding specifically of 10. Good. This is what we have. This is the space we're looking for, and this is what we have. Great. After the HStack which contains the text, out of this, I'll create my scroll view. I want the items to scroll horizontal, and I don't want to show the indicators, so I'll set it to show indicators to false. And the body of the scroll view, I want to create my LazyHStack. Open the body. For each, I will loop through the templates, which is in the data file, the data suite file, and as ID, obviously always be self, and in the closure, we will get template in, open it. So what we need to do now, we need to create a template item view so we can populate it in a for each loop and pass in the template object. So what we have to do, go to view, we'll right click, select new file, make sure you select SwiftUI view and hit next, and save as, we'll call it template item view and hit enter. First, we need to do in a template item view. We know a template item view will be receiving a template object, so we'll create elect template, result type template, And here, an error will pop up. We have a missing argument of template. Let's fix this. And to fix this, we'll get the first item in the template array. Take this, and we'll get the first item. And the first item will be passed here. So first thing we'll do, in the body, we're going to replace this text with VStack, because all our items will be aligned vertically. We'll give it an alignment, and we'll align the elements in the vertical stack to Lazy. And in here, we want to create our first text, which will contain a serial number. So we'll have a hash, and we'll interpolate our serial number, which we get from the template object above. Template.serial number. Great. After entering a serial number, we can see it displayed here. But for instant gratification, I will come to the parent VStack. I'll first give it some padding in this. Sorry. Then I'll give it a background color. That will be background. And in color, I'll give it the secondary color. Get from template. Color secondary. And I'll give it a corner radius of 15. Great. That's it. This is it. This is what we wanted. Let's get back to our serial number text. We want it to have a font of subheading, a foreground color of gray, and want it to have some padding. And we'll give the padding to the bottom, precisely of 1. Our next text, get it from template, and we want the name. We'll give it a font weight of bold. Our third and last text, we'll still get it from the template object. No, our last text is the date. I don't think we don't have date in our template object, so we'll just hard code the date. We'll give it 20 sep, 2021, just like in our design. We'll give it a font of subheadline and the foreground color of gray. Great. Then, so this child VStack, we want to give it a padding bottom of 20. Why padding bottom of 20? This will be a padding bottom of 20. Let's now have this HStack. So we have HStack, and in here, first we have our first text, which says paid. To this text, we'll give it a font of callout. Oh, sorry. We'll give it a font of callout. We'll give some padding, scaling. Of 20. And our next text, which holds the price or the amount, we'll get the amount from template. And we'll give it a font width of bold. Great. So our HStack, we'll give it some padding. First vertical with a value of 10. Then we do it another padding. This time around it's horizontal with a value of 7. We'll now give it a background with a color, got it from template, and it's the primary color. After the background, let's have a zoom in. This is exactly what we wanted to design. As you see this, and now we need to take this view and add it in our statistics screen. So let's go back to our statistics screen. Great. So this is what we get in our preview. We get the 2 templates items and are both displayed with their color primary and color secondary colors. So now all we have left to do is include the statistics screen in our main content view. So we're done implementing our statistics screen, and now what we need to do is we need to include it in our main content view and attach it to our tag view like we did. So first we'll go to content view, and in content view we'll find the text which shows the value of statistic, and we're going to replace this with statistics screen, just like so. And let's preview it. And by the time it shows on the preview, and when we select on the statistics screen tab item, it will show us our statistics screen we implemented. Great. So if we come here to the preview and select the statistics item icon, we'll be presented with this. Great. Scrollable, selectable, and basically we are done implementing this. So we have come to the end of this video. In this video, we could successfully replicate this UI we found on Dribble. It was not rather a challenging one, but it was actually an eye-opener because there are a lot of tweaks we had to make, like these circular views. You had to rotate and stack in between them. This image icon, we had to rotate and find a trick to make it vertical. So if you like what we do here, more videos are coming for both the Android native platform and the iOS native platform. Please, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe and also activate your notification bell icon so you won't miss any of my latest updates. And please also leave a comment if you have a worry, or you just want to tag me for a tutorial, or you just want to give your own advice or a video suggestion I can make to help you guys grow. By the time I'm filming this video, we are 220 subscribers. I want to thank you guys a lot. My channel has been growing and I'm not be expecting this growth. So my goal before the end of this year is to reach 2,000 subscribers, and I'm sure you guys will help me reach that goal. Don't forget to share the video with your friends so your friends can also benefit from it, and your friends can also share with their own friends. Without wasting much of your time, see you in another tutorial video. Bye.